Hey everyone, Philip here, wanting to welcome you all back to a new season of the Thodcast. But before we begin our first episode, I want to dedicate this new episode to a good friend I recently lost. That's Jake Hertwig, who was in on my first crack at recording a podcast. We called it Genre Savvy, talking about, all things geek ephemera, entertainment, pop culture. So, to Jake Hertwig from back home, I just want to say thank you for the memories. You were an incredible person, and you'll always live on in my memory forever. One note about the episode, it begins with just my brother and I, but later in the show, we are joined by Hannah and Jody, so make sure you hang around for that. You get the full Thodcast experience as we delve into a variety of topics, but specifically the new Frozen trailer. Enjoy! Purple flame, purple flame.
Does Purple Flame Army look like the bad guys or the lost Arendellians protecting the kingdom from the mist?
There's a whole group of lost people. The Arendellians, seem to have like an indigenous tribe living in the northern reaches.
Yeah, us Scandinavian indigenous tribe indeed.
The Sami people in Norway are what they're called.
Are they a real thing?
The Sami, I think that's how you pronounce it, or a Finno-Ugric people inhabiting Sapmi, which today encompasses large northern parts of Norway and Sweden, northern parts of Finland. They have historically been known in English as Laps or Laplanders.
Lapland.
Sami ancestral lands are not well defined. I think because they look European for the most part, kind of maybe a bit more weathered and like pronounced cheekbones and things like that, sort of like you see in the trailer with those country folk. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. And I guess we're probably I'm just gonna start the episode with my little cover of Prince, I think.
Go right ahead.
No, I mean that's what I did at the beginning there. So this is episode 38 of the Thodcast. Officially, we're bringing in the new season. We had a little bit of a hiatus where I had a bit of a much needed break from recording anything, and Dawson, you had a significant time where you were off and having adventures.
A beautiful season of life. Yes, I got married.
Getting married. How is married life?
It's wonderful and pretty perfect so far.
Good. How are you liking the place?
I like it a lot. It's a good place. It didn't sound echoey until just now. My recorder. Does it sound echoey on your end?
It's not too bad.
Okay.
So it looks like it's just the two of us to talk about this here. Thanks for your interest in discussing. I know we've both been fairly enthusiastic about this.
Yeah, it's my most highly anticipated film of 2019. Is that the year we're in?
Wait, what?
What? It's treason then.
It's treason.
It's treason then. No, I'm quite excited to see you too, Palpy. Oh, my P's really popped in that.
Oh yeah. Well,
But more excited about Princess Elsa than
Princess.
Princess
Yeah.
Leia today. If anyone
Yeah.
would have believed it, no.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's plenty to talk about in the Star Wars arena, but today we're just gonna mainly focus on Frozen, and continue our updates on the Thodcast,
Yes,
and yeah, as we converse about animation and provide special coverage of Frozen,
an
uh,
upcoming sequel to Disney's flagship franchise.
the worthwhile flagship animation franchise at the very least.
Yes.
And yeah, it's exciting to see them building out the lore in the way they are. Uh,
This trailer gave us a lot of that, a surprising amount of information, almost maybe more than I would have liked. But
yeah, the first thing I hear is this, in a faraway land.
yeah, I thought
The
we were flashing
the
back to
narration.
old style
What
trailers.
is this, 1980s? And like I was almost kind of put off by it. I got up to go to the bathroom, and and then would planned on coming back to finish the trailer. I was like, oh wow, what are they doing? Putting narration in
Oh
a
wow.
trailer in 2019. I mean, it you'll see it occasionally for like kids movies, but or certain animated films will have a narrator. I don't know. It's possible to do it, I think, and do it well. Uh, Nowadays, I mean, if you really, I can't even think of the last film trailer that I thought did a good job, that included narration. I don't know.
I don't even know what the last film to trailer to have narration was, but this one
Yeah.
subverted our expectations incredibly well. I was instantly put off, and then a few seconds later, thought it was pretty clever.
Yeah, far away,
Um,
as north as we can go. And when I heard that, it kind of clued me in. Oh, of course, this is Maurice LaMarche, the voice of Anna and Elsa's father, King Agnar.
that's
He's
his name.
his
Nice.
signature dulcet. Yeah, he's like my favorite voicing. He does the brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, do you think? I wonder how much of a role flashbacks will play, and of course, so that cut to the child in the Arendelle regalia, the blonde child in Arendelle regalia, looked like he was visiting a village. Was that the king
Yeah,
himself as a young man?
flashing back to King Agnar as a young boy or young man. He's got to be what, maybe 12 in this? Um,
Yeah, probably. So
10,
the
10 or
beginning of the
12.
film will probably open with a flashback of the king telling a story, and we'll see shots of him running around this village,
Mm-hmm.
and then how dangerous it all got, and then some magic or force associated with that closed off land will then directly impact events in the present, and
Mm-hmm.
Elsa will have to go off on an adventure. Uh, and I wonder, it definitely lent some credence to the theory that the king might be there up in the north, showing him there in the beginning in a flashback might, you know,
Mm-hmm.
parallel nicely with him being there at the end.
Why would he be there at the end in like storm?
Well, shipwreck, but maybe like again, magical reasons, or else it was a cover. One way or another, maybe he crashed on an island and then got picked up by a magical seahorse that ferried him to the mystical lands, and he's been either a prisoner or voluntarily there, hopefully with his wife.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we do find out that the kids from the first trailer, I mean, the blonde boy is King Agnar, as a youth, and being, you know, caught up in some crazy elemental magic. And then the girl he's with is, would go on to be his wife, Queen Iduna, who's, I guess, a member of this indigenous population. but one of the several who escaped the the curse that sealed off this land. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that there was a curse that sealed off the land.
Oh, and the girl, that the girl was
Oh,
Anna and
yeah.
Elsa's mom.
That makes a lot of sense. So in the
Mm-hmm.
teaser trailers, those clips that showed like the two kids that Jody and I were talking about and wondering who they
Mm-hmm.
are. Was that Agnar and Young? What Runa? What did you say?
Iduna, I believe.
Iduna.
Um, I think they're going with those names, um, which are, I think, derived from the inscription on the tombstones from the first film,
Hmm.
but they're not written in English lettering. It's like ancient Nord.
Ang-
Yeah.
Anglo-Saxon rune and runic.
Hmm.
Love it.
So it was unclear if they'd be going with those names in the fully established canon, but I think they are based on promotional materials for the film.
Yeah. It's reasonable to think that when they were writing the original Frozen, they'd come up with names for the king and queen and, be fairly confident in
Yeah.
them.
They're not
Um,
very like traditional European royalty sounding names. Like
no,
if you look
no,
at,
they're definitely Viking chieftain names
yeah,
for sure.
well, it makes sense for Iduna if she's, not,
Yeah, if she's Swami or
yeah, she's like, yeah, sort of
Sami.
the Sami.
Sami. Wow.
The names of like Scandinavian monarchs are pretty typical European sounding, Christian names. You know, King Christopher, King Carl, Charles. They're styled in
Charles,
different
yeah.
ways depending on the language that you're using, really.
There's
And a
no
lot and a
King
lot of
King Fjord of
like I think around this time you would have King Charles or King Christian um, in Norway, and then like there was a point at which like the same monarch was um, crowned head of state for both Norway and Sweden. They've kind of flopped as to whether there have been two separate monarchies for England and Sweden and Norway and Sweden, and just one. Some conflicts back in those times too that would maybe be fun to explore, a la A Song of Ice and Fire.
yes. Well, it looks like we're gonna get some conflict in
Yeah.
Frozen 2.
How? Yeah. Why do these people start fighting amongst themselves? Could it just
Who
be?
who were they? Who was fighting? And are they still fighting in
Yeah.
present time as
Well,
far as the
yeah.
film's concerned?
Looked like the native people were fighting with the Arendelian people, like the guards or the soldiers. There was some clashing of swords, but perhaps this was all brought on by the elemental magic that is starting to occur during this visit by the king. Some of the news lead up said that the king did something when he was up in this enchanted forest that caused the spirits to get angry, and that maybe ultimately led to this conflict and the cursed land.
Yeah, is that our antagonist, the spirits of nature? And is Elsa on a mission to reconcile with them? It sounds like
Mm.
her magic, the troll points out that her magic is officially something inherently dangerous, perhaps not good, that she could be tempted to be overcome by it if Anna doesn't help
Yeah,
steer her back to the good side.
there was something interesting I noticed watching Frozen again last night. I watched all three installments of the Frozen animated universe. Uh, the original film, Frozen Fever, and Olaf's Frozen Adventure in preparation for this trailer. Um, and when they're meeting with the trolls for the first time, um, Elsa as a young child, and Anna is unconscious. The troll grandpappy says, "I suggest we remove all magic, even memories of magic." So the first thing he says is just blanket removing magic from
Hmm.
the scenario, and then he mentions even memories. But then it seems like all he does is remove the memories from Anna. He doesn't actually remove magic.
Did he try, or why
No,
didn't they at the
yeah, he didn't even try. It just was kind of left hanging. Um, no real explanation. Well, he then turns to Elsa and said, your power, there's great beauty in your power, but also great, danger. Fear will be your enemy. So you must learn to control it. And then, the king and queen are like, well, until then, we will, close the gates, limit her contact with people.
Gotcha. So he was talking about taking magic away from Anna, not like the troll could take all Elsa's powers.
Yeah, I guess that was the extent of it, but it was just interesting that he phrased it as, yeah, I suggest removing all magic, and then,
Ooh,
you know, memories of magic. Hmm.
does Anna have magic?
I don't know.
Uh, Clickbait. Elsa Frozen 2 amazing reveal. Anna has ice powers or fire power.
It is becoming.
She has red hair.
Maybe she could have, but now she doesn't because her powers were maybe removed by the trolls. I don't know.
Maybe the memory, maybe they tried,
Hmm.
but they didn't fully end.
Yeah,
Or
because if Grandpa was able to remove the power from Anna, then why wouldn't he have done that for Elsa as well?
mm,
So yeah, he maybe can't, straight up disable somebody. He can't do what Amon does in the first season of Legend of Korra, stripping people of their bending.
well, there would be your Song of Ice and Fire right there if we got that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Fire Sister and the Ice Sister. I would not be surprised at all if they went that direction.
Yeah, I mean, it maybe would work because, yeah, we see that they do have a tie to this land ancestrally. I'm curious about their like grandparents. It's odd that they don't have any living grandparents, that we've seen.
Yeah, good point. No one to even live in the castle with them and as a guardian. I
Hmm.
wonder if they got trapped. The only living grandparents got trapped behind the mist. If they'll uncover a whole new distant family.
Interesting. That'd be crazy if, like the king's parents. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anyone who looked like the previous king or queen in the trailer. But if they got trapped behind the wall of fog and like he had to return and to a rulerless kingdom at a young age, um, that would have been interesting. Um,
Hmm.
See how they explain it. Maybe because yeah, for him not to have any living parent, for the king, not to have any living parents, at the time of the events of the first film, just seems like something would have happened. I don't know. People lived shorter lives back then. So.
Well, as Lady Bracknell once said, to lose one parent may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose two looks like carelessness.
what? What's that? Who's Lady Bracknell?
That's from The Importance of Being Earnest.
Oh, okay.
The Oscar Wilde classic.
Hmm. And then the king's daughters then going on to lose their parents. Hmm. Maybe
Hmm.
it's just a strange curse.
If Iduna is indeed from the tribe, then that would make sense that her family is still up there.
We'll probably see. Yeah, I think some of the characters. That's maybe her mother that we see.
And that's where the red hair comes from, is her side, right?
Well, I think red hair is just pretty common in general. In
Oh, is it? I mean, that be that as it may, she was the one. Agnar was from Arendelle, went up north, met the tribal girl or Iduna. So her relatives would have that. I don't know, Aunt Anna might, and they might all have a special connection to the flame, or they guard the flame. It will be interesting to see if the people of that world's relationship to magic is one of mutual respect, but kind of, distance, or if there is an active antagonism going on there that they've had to fight against it for a long time, or have to do something to appease it. It'd be interesting to find. I'm really curious how the mist was born and why it was impenetrable, and what the Stonehenge obelisks mean. That's kind of just a nexus point for magic in the area. Also, if the Colossus is going to be, it seems going full on Colossus. There's an ancient land that is forbidden or cursed, and no one should go there. But we've got to send our wanderers out, and it's guarded by powerful spiritual forces that either need to be overcome or appeased. And there's inevitably gonna be some climate
environmental
symbolism in here, I think, about magic and nature, and Elsa being the most obvious symbol for having such a interwoven relationship between the force of nature and human society.
The population of Arendelle, I think, is magic is just going to be kind of a more regular part of this world than traditional real life society.
Oh, will that be the end of the movie? Like, magic comes back to the world, and there's little purple butterflies and seahorses hopping in the bay, and the children are like playing with the symbols and like bubbles and fire.
Yeah,
all the torches are lit by purple flame, and Elsa and someone are king and queen of magic land.
They open up the spirit world to the rest of the world.
Do you think, Frozen question for you, do you think this is going to be the end of the series, or is there a Frozen 3?
So there's been some developments that I haven't necessarily been the most privy to, because while I was at D23, I didn't get into the press event where they showed new footage, or that they didn't show. I never got to see any of the clips from the film that they showed at the panel. It was all very very closed, and like they had everyone put away their phone in these secure locked pouches at the panel. So I don't even know if it's floating out there somewhere, footage of the panel. But I think it's been said that this is designed to be a conclusion to the Frozen saga, but probably not absolutely so. It's just not setting up for a sequel.
Okay. It's always a little weird when there's only a 2 and there's not a 3, especially when they take the series in a more epic scale direction.
Yeah. I've heard that this isn't setting up for a sequel, but that could maybe change. There might be like a post-credits, stinger with foreshadowing. I don't know. Maybe they would consider doing a series on Disney Plus.
That's always an option.
So I just watched Frozen last night, and the spin-off short films. Have you seen? Well, yeah, you've seen Olaf's Frozen Adventure, right?
No,
You haven't.
I've seen Frozen Fever. I've not seen Olaf's Frozen Adventure.
Oh, well, that one,
How long is it?
it's like 20 minutes.
What does it add to the canon? Oh my gosh!
It's
Well, that's a whole episode.
yeah, it's set during Christmas time. Um, I think maybe a year. Well, yeah, this is their first. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is their first Christmas. After Elsa reveals powers. So I guess Olaf's Frozen Adventure, I think, takes place before Frozen Fever, because Frozen Fever's back in the summer the following
Mm.
year. So that's Anna's first birthday of the two of them reunited. The So Olaf's Frozen Adventure um, sets up that, like, there's a whole village that, or Arendelle, the city people are kind of, well, warm to the fact of Elsa, and everything's kind of going along normally, but like it just kind of further delves into the backstory, and like Elsa sort of confirms verbally, like, we were never together growing up. So it seems, yeah, she's
Aha.
like, yeah, I mean, I refuse to believe, like, they never saw each other, but I suppose Anna and Elsa's interactions were kept just very brief, because for any, if they were together for any prolonged duration, her powers would come out, and secret would be exposed. But
So Olaf's Grand Adventure does they explore some of the world
yeah,
and
and yeah, you get to see the world. The animation had come a long way, in the 5 years, or 3 4. Frozen was 2013. Olaf's Frozen Adventure was 2017. Um, and yeah, so really, I was surprised at how much, or how far animation had come since the original Frozen. When I watched it last night, it did look kind of plasticky compared to.
oh no. Well,
I mean, understandable. It's 6 years old now, but here's the thing: like, the turning point came with the Lego Movie, and that was 2014, right? We talked about it a little bit. We didn't do a full episode on the Lego Movie. Um,
why was the Lego movie a turning point for
it was
animation?
the first major animated film to, 2014, to use this um, industry lighting standard called ACES. Um, Academy, um, something encoding system, this cinematography encoding system, um, that enables, you know photorealistic light in animation and visual effects.
Mm.
hmm So that was a big step forward in VFX animation.
Oh yeah, lighting. I mean, really light brings light to everything. That's it, how we see. Lighting is such a huge
Oh,
deal.
color, Academy color encoding system, I think.
So not lighting, but it's still true.
Color, yeah, more so.
Oh,
Which, yeah, um, and that was what allowed Lego Movie to look like an actual, like, stop motion animated film. Um, but
okay.
even that style has since, or that technology has since been used for other things that aren't made to look like stop motion. Um, Especially most recently with, like, Toy Story 3 or 4, and How to
Oh
Train Your
yeah.
Dragon 3. How just everything, textures look so photoreal, nature and environments look so, hyper realistic.
They have that video game style texture and quality to them. I've noticed because video games have been trying to do that forever, like especially making geographic landscapes
Mm,
look photorealistic, and it
okay.
didn't seem like movies were interested as much in
Mm,
that. But then How to Train Your Dragon certainly looked like it.
hmm. I mean, you either want to make it look photoreal or sort of abstract and painterly, like it's been painted by an artist or something, and not like these are assets that someone took from a library and sporadically placed around the environment. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I don't know. Frozen's still gorgeous, but there's
Hmm.
been a lot of innovation since then. A lot of the background characters in that movie are just very generic. Um,
I do remember that. Yeah.
mhm. And like they're a lot of just unique characters that they show in this new one. As Olaf is going around town, he like goes door to door to
On
find.
a publicity tour, he's
He does. He has his own little, you know, Olaf introduction to the kingdom publicity tour, because he's looking for traditions because Anna and Elsa don't have any traditions for Christmas.
oh, that's fun.
Hmm. It's very relatable to us as Minnesotans. Like
Ah,
there's like a family. Lefse is referenced.
Lessa.
So they have like baking. People have baking traditions, knitting traditions. There's some Jewish people who have menorah. There's like a macabre joke about Christmas trees where you chop down a tree and you dress its corpse in candles.
You dress its course and can't.
And then Olaf, yeah, he immediately subverts it by going, "I love it."
I love it.
In
Yeah.
typical Olaf style. I like that reverse POV shot at the end of the trailer of him running around
Where
in the.
he's trying to kill him.
It's very King Arthur, Guy Ritchie. Uh, remember the trailers for that King Arthur movie that came out a few years back? It was like these close up shots on Charlie Hunnam's face as he's like sprinting through the old English village.
No,
Um,
I'll have to look that up. Is this
oh
the King Arthur with Keira Knightley in it,
no,
or
no, this is the newer one that flopped. The
there's a newer? Oh, with like the Vikings
Yeah,
actor in it.
yeah, it was Charlie Hunnam who's in
Okay.
that motorcycle show.
Oh,
What's it
Sons of
called? Sons of
Anarchy.
Anarchy.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
and Pacific Rim, he was in that too.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah. Well, don't get me started on a tangent about medieval fantasy films that are being made in the modern era, a la Robin
oh
Hood
god.
and King Arthur, because they need to stop and figure out
I mean, it could work if you actually made a good one,
it.
but
Yeah.
people are so jaded to the fact that these are just mediocre. It would be hard to sell people on something like this nowadays because people are accustomed to the mediocrity, so they're just not going to
No,
show up unless like there's
my
good word of mouth.
we got a new head stage manager and or tech director at my college, Northwestern, my last year there, who had done years and years of professional work on Broadway. Knew a ton of people, had a lot of connections, but she was sick of it. She actually kind of hates theater.
Mm,
Um, she likes Broadway musicals and she likes stage managing them, but
mhm,
just she doesn't care. And she likes film a lot too
mhm,
because she thinks that's more fun because you go from location to location. But she wanted to get into teaching, wanted to move back to Minnesota, and so we were very lucky to have someone with all this professional experience. She said she has a friend who has written the best King Arthur script ever,
oh,
and that if that and that might be getting made, and she might get a chance to work on it. I haven't heard anything since, but I'll have to check in with her on what's going on. I don't think it's the King Arthur movie that just got made. I really hope it isn't. The timing was working out where when she told me about it, it might have been like because I feel like I heard about that King Arthur movie fairly quickly
mm,
after, almost too quickly. Um, but yeah, I don't know. There's just medieval legends, I mean, could be its whole uh, universe, because it is one. You could have King Arthur, you could have Joan of Arc, you could have Robin Hood, you could have um uh, Ivanhoe, which is Robin Hood? I can't remember. I don't know.
I mean, most of these stories have been done to death, kind of across various media, but
Yeah, not in like really epic films though. I
yeah,
mean, there hasn't been an epic medieval fantasy movie since Lord of the Rings. Like no one's really been able to do it right, do a good job. Narnia got close. Those were really the first two I thought were
yeah,
really good.
yeah.
Um,
Game of Thrones on TV and other
Game of Thrones on
other
TV,
shows
yeah.
have done it as well.
Vikings, a lot of people like
Mhm,
Vikings. Last Kingdom, I think a lot of people like, but yeah, whatever.
mhm.
They just, it's so, you can't have a low budget on a medieval fantasy film, but they all do for
Mhm.
whatever reason. Anyway, tangent.
Yeah. Um, well, it thrills me to no end that you're excited about this film. We just scratched the surface of the trailer. Did any
Did we? Oh
well,
no.
but Jody and Hannah might actually be joining us, so that's okay.
Okay.
And this can be a
I
bit of a
might.
longer episode.
Okay, I'll be available for a little crossover if that's okay.
Yeah,
But
no
then
worries.
I think I
Um,
do need to go
yeah, I
pretty soon.
want to maybe ask you a few more things about the trailer. Did anything about the music stand out? Do you think?
I didn't pay very close
Yeah,
attention. It sounded good.
yeah, I really like. There was that sort of theme that played towards the beginning of the trailer. There was like the harpsichord music as the king's narrating, and then it goes into this like 10 note melody that sounds kind of like Rocketeer music or something. So it could just be very like generic trailer music, but it's very pretty. I wouldn't be disappointed if it were used, as part of the score or soundtrack. Um, it's late enough in the process where the soundtrack and many of the songs are just in the can, ready to go. I'm sure all of that's ready to go. Um, the only thing left to do on this film is just certain editing, I'm sure. Um,
They have the final render is about 63% of the way through, and they're all just like, okay, this needs to be done by
maybe some
November.
scoring, maybe some scoring. They might be done rendering, honestly. I don't know if they consider a wrap when they're done with rendering or just done with like the animating. So yeah, hard to say. Um, because they have shown a couple of songs, and I haven't heard any of the songs. There's that number when Elsa gets called off by that mystical voice into the wilderness. She has that sort of sequence in the darkness. It's like in some ethereal void, etheric void, with sparkly objects kind of dancing around her. We saw some clips of that in the previous
Mm.
trailer. Um, I like that was a funny line. Like, is Elsa acting, kind of strange to you? Oh,
Elsa's
she's
Elsa.
acting like Elsa. Um, very, because yeah, like Elsa's. I mean, neither Elsa nor Anna were very well-adjusted people in the first film, and
Yeah, they actually have to sit with each other now and explore those relationships. And I don't know. It's
yeah,
probably be pretty. I feel like Christoph. Yes, Chris.
or
He'll
well, relationships in general. I mean, they were both very isolated, but Elsa extremely so.
if they all go on a quest together, it's gonna be full of those little tug of wars and
The,
tensions and awkwardness and
yeah,
miscommunications.
the awkwardness is going to be palpable. And
Oh,
Kristoff too.
He'll be comic relief. Christoph will be comic relief, and there will be so many scenes where word exchanged. Anna gives him a sharp look, and he goes, "What?" That's gonna happen at least 12 times.
But it's kind of sad though. Like that whole thing of like isolation is really typical of like royalty. I feel. I
Mhm.
think they're just in their own little bubble, um, and no matter what the situation, you know, their ability to relate to the common ordinary folk is sort of limited.
Yeah, that's why they all crazy
They're
and
crazy inbred.
Oof.
um, no, I mean, these characters are just they feel very natural, um, and not your typical, aristocratic, you know,
Well, Anna certainly
hoity-toity.
tried hard throughout her life, I
Hmm.
think, to be normal
Hmm.
because of how extremely strange her family was, and so she'll be the audience is into the story.
Hmm.
I can't imagine really what they'll do with Kristoff other than him being comic relief. Like, will he have much of an arc?
I don't know.
Sven's sure gonna have an arc. Sven finds his family.
Yeah, yeah. The queen from the first, Aduna is carrying a baby reindeer as she's entering Arendelle across the bridge. If you notice that, um, so the native people have a strong connection to reindeer. Um, if you notice, Anna's sword that she's holding, I guess the one that she takes from Kristoff, it looks like it's made out of ice.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Ice forged steel.
yeah. I think that's
Legendary blade forged by the elements of
maybe
the
it's just
north.
covered in ice because someone blasted it with ice, or because the elemental magic. But maybe Elsa did make a sword out of ice. But
Elsa absolutely buffs all her party members and gives them weapon enchantments. It's basic level mage
yeah,
ability.
well, you see Anna draw it from Kristoff's belt, so it's a sword that's made of ice, but also capable of being carried. And like it doesn't just melt as soon as you're done using it.
Well, because Olaf doesn't melt, so I
Yeah,
imagine.
I guess. Yeah, it's it's room temperature ice.
There'll be a big battle at the end of the film, and all the tribes people will be like, "Oh, we feel so outnumbered," but then Elsa will raise her
Mm.
hand, and then all their swords will just like crystallize into ice and be extra enchanted, and
Well,
that won't. You know.
who would be an enemy to be fought using like traditional weapons? There doesn't seem to be, at least as the main conflict at the end of the film. We see people fighting with weapons early on in the flashbacks, but at the end, it seems more that it's just these crazy mystical threats.
Yeah, I wonder if they're linked because did it the was it for sure that the king's soldiers were fighting northern tribes people
I think
or
so. I think they were fighting because they probably think that there's a whole bunch of magical phenomena that are happening while the young king is there, and
Hmm.
this maybe causes an accident to happen and some kind of misunderstanding. So the soldiers think that the natives are like, you know, using magic to attack them or something.
It might be cool if there was a human or antagonistic force, like a villain. If there was a villain in this movie
Yeah.
who was living in the enchanted realm and was
Mhm.
specifically using all that elemental magic for ill.
Maybe. It at the very least seems very action heavy. Just the
I
act
mean,
of
the troll
yeah.
shows her that vision of the
Hmm.
the the arms with swords clashing, and it's like
Hmm.
you're headed into that. Like, there's still something going on up there.
Hmm.
So I hope there's a good sword fight other than just a little quick moment in the beginning.
Yeah,
Maybe
hard
not,
to
but
say. I mean, lots of elemental, chaos and mayhem.
oh, the earthquake in the village. We didn't talk about that yet.
Oh yeah,
But,
seems
or
that
just some calamity befalls, and they all look on in horror after they all have to flee.
the reaction, makes it look like it was destroyed or something, or large chunks of
Maybe.
it. I don't think the entire kingdom or the entire village will be destroyed, but at least heavily damaged.
All the people, are they going to have to go to Norway, or the Duke of Wesselton? They'll have to
I don't know.
refuge in his land.
Hansel will have to come to the rescue.
Yeah. Will Hans return in Frozen 2?
I think he is actually. I think Santino Fontana, the voice actor, is like confirmed to return and reprise his role. I did
Wow.
read in one article. Haven't checked IMDb. I don't know. Do I dare? Do I want to spoil myself?
No.
um,
Stay away.
you notice the little like gecko creature? That was cute.
Yeah, I did. I that was the moment when I noted the teaser trailers had this really austere ambient and mysterious and quiet and
Austere.
like
That's a good
epic.
word. Yeah.
All those vibes were going on, and I was like, wow, if I didn't know this was Frozen, I wouldn't know it's Frozen. And then the full trailer comes out, and there's the humor, there's the cute things, there's the funny dialogue, there's the like,
Hmm.
this is a Disney movie again, for better or worse. Yeah, a cute little gecko. It's
Hmm.
not Rapunzel's chameleon, but it's a little white guy, and it'll be, who knows what role it'll play.
Probably not very
Probably not.
significant. Um, I am okay. I did check the IMDb because I wanted to double check Sterling K. Brown's role. He plays the voice of Lieutenant Matthias,
Oh.
a character who presumably gets stuck behind the wall of mist when it closes. And yeah, he's like, "How did you get in here?"
How did you get in here? Where'd you get your magic? What's
Hmm.
going on?
How did they survive? How did for like close to 40 years it has to have been, maybe 30. That was the flashback is what, maybe 10 years before Elsa's born.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So the Matthias guy, was
Hmm.
he that age when he went in with
I
at with?
I think he's aged up a bit. I think he's more noticeably more gray in the present than in the flashback. You referenced, how kind of gritty and austere the first two trailers appeared, and
Yeah, there seemed to be a tonal shift. Or
but
at
not
least
too. It wasn't detrimental for me at all, actually. I mean, what about you? Did it?
no,
Yeah.
not detrimental. I just
Mhm. Although,
y-
yeah, I mean, I am not put off by the frozenness of any of it. Certainly, yeah.
I'm not either.
Hmm.
I was really intrigued and excited by maybe a darker take on things, or
Hmm.
if this film was going to have a significant, if you were going to go in and watch it and it was somehow going to just feel a lot more epic than the first one. And
Hmm.
I think it still will. Well, maybe not a lot, but um I don't know. Well, the first two trailers definitely didn't seem like it was going to be a musical at all,
Hmm.
but it's going to have to be a musical. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm still excited. Um, and I hope the swords get put to use. I hope the adventure is full of peril,
Hmm.
and um,
Hmm.
I hope there's a good battle between good and evil,
Yeah.
or something like. So yeah.
Yeah. It seems like it's going to be kept fairly contained. I mean, it's just going to focus on this adventure in the wilderness
Mhm.
mainly, but ripe for plenty of good storytelling overall. Oh, Anna does use the word epic in the trailer.
Yes.
The-
Yes.
I don't know. That seemed a bit of a stretch. To Would a kid that young
Yeah,
know what epic
anachronistic,
means?
probably.
Well, there's a lot of anachronistic dialogue in these films, and I'm fine with that. I like how conversational it feels.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where the key in the tonal difference is if you watch the teaser trailers, you might, well, maybe they're going for a really authentic, you know, style.
The
And then
speech
it's like, no,
patterns,
we're
reflect.
speech. Yeah, right.
You
But then
old
we're right back into the modern
hark,
cadence.
sister, step no further.
Yeah,
Dangers
yeah.
here belie. The yeah, Anna refers to Hans as her ex-boyfriend.
My
Who-
ex-boyfriend.
My ex-boyfriend, who I knew for a day.
Yeah, she didn't
Um,
say ex-fiance. Wow.
well, I guess fiance. If yeah,
Is
my
he?
my
Does he mean
question.
nothing to her?
I mean, he should mean nothing
Right.
to her
Well,
because
will he come back apologetic and somehow trying to redeem himself, or will he come back as an even more confirmed
yeah,
villain?
I don't
That's
know. There's a theory that his turn was caused by the trolls. That the
his.
line in the Fixer Upper song where they're like, "Get the fiance out of the way, and the whole thing will be fixed."
So that would explain how convincing of a hero he was in the beginning, and then just
Mm,
switch to a bad guy randomly. Wow,
mhm.
we we used we didn't know what the magic would do, but we just cast Bippity Boo, get away from you, and it made him evil.
It caused a rift in the space-time continuum. Yeah, where he was meddling all along.
Oh boy, that's good. That's getting to you.
What would I do without you?
You'll always have me. Has Elsa seemed weird to you?
She seems like Elsa.
There's this voice. Voice? What does that mean? Head for the cliffs!
I'm gonna blow! I've got you!
The kingdom is not safe. Find who is calling to you. They may have answers.
I'm going with you.
Anna? No.
Excuse me, I climbed the North Mountain, survived a frozen heart, and saved you from my ex-boyfriend, so, you know, I'm coming.
That's normal. Where are we?
How did you get in the forest?
The mist parted for us.
Impossible.
Where did you learn magic?
Dawson, thank you for talking Frozen. You're the Anna to my Elsa, and we'll. All right. Hey, there's Hannah. She just joined. So Dawson, you're free to do
All
as
right.
you
Hi, Hannah. Good to
wish.
see you. Well, we'll get all four on for an episode, hopefully someday.
Yeah,
Wait, isn't
yeah.
she coming? Oh, there she is. I'm tired.
Sorry.
Me too. I've already talked Frozen for an hour and a half.
Wait, did you
so
talk
you
about
all
the
have
trailer?
We've been chatting about things.
I'll be killing you. We just woke up
we-
for this, Patrick. Oh my God, I just said Patrick. What is wrong with you?
Well,
Okay,
I earned that.
What are we talking about today?
Yeah, the Frozen official trailer 2. is
Y'all kids
what
have fun.
they call it. Dawson's
Good to
heading
see
out
ya.
because he has to leave.
Okay, Dawson, have fun being
Bye.
married.
Yeah, good to see you. We'll do a full episode soon. Bye.
Congrats. Yes.
Go.
All right. So
Philip, we're dying.
sorry. Okay. This means welcome to part 2 of our special coverage of Frozen 2 on the Thodcast. Once again, I'm Philip. Wow, you guys are here, and thank you so much for joining on this early Monday morning. So y'all saw the trailer. So how are y'all doing? Just to start off, I'll start with you, Jody, joining us from Atlanta or from Georgia, somewhere in that vicinity.
Yep. I'm in Georgia, and it's been a hot minute since we podcasted, so I'm ready to cool down and talk about Frozen 2 a little bit. I've been doing great. this summer's been super busy. The three of us were at D23 recently. We spent some time at Disneyland, and I think we've all been sort of all over the country a little bit with work and play. So it's nice that we get to sit down and talk about this sequel that's so highly anticipated, and the new trailer that just came out.
Hmm. Awesome. And Hannah, coming to us from Minnesota, I believe.
Yep, that's where I landed my plane here. I'm so excited to get back into the podcast, and I think it is so exciting that they released some more Frozen 2 for us.
Oh man. What did you think? I started the conversation with Dawson saying like, what is this narration that I'm hearing in this trailer? That seemed really bizarre for a modern like trailer in 2019. I think sometimes you'll see that with like animated movies. You'll have a narrator for a trailer, but it ended up not being that. Thankfully, it was actually the king, regaling his stories of being a child. But yeah, that was kind of my first impression. Whoever wants to jump in, how did this trailer hold up to the previous two?
Yeah, so I've only seen it 3 times, so I'm probably missing a ton of details because there is a whole lot of content shoved into that 2-minute trailer, I think is
Mhm.
the length of it.
Yeah.
Um, I had the same weird feeling with the start of it being like, there once was a forest narration, but once they showed that it was a father telling the story and it showed the Elsa and Anna listening as kids, I love, because like I said before when we were talking about
Mhm.
Frozen 2, I really am looking forward to seeing more scenes and more of that family dynamic that was happening before the parents disappear. And I think this trailer is showing us that we are going to get uh, more of that in this film. Um,
Mhm.
I think the storyline isn't what I expected based off of the teaser that we got,
Mhm.
which isn't a bad thing or a good thing, I guess. I'm still sort of just soaking it in, but
Mhm.
it looks like it's going to be pretty epic. So that was sort of my impression of it. I do think I liked the teaser better just because I could let my mind fill in the blanks a little more. And now that we're getting more of the structure of the story, um,
Mhm.
my imagination has like less wiggle room. Do you know what I mean? But overall,
Yeah.
I'm getting more and more excited for November 22nd. So this trailer was very cool.
Yeah, we had that first teaser that was really vague, but also just really tight and atmospheric. And then the first official trailer, which was shorter than the teaser even, but just gave us more details about the story, gave some dialogue. And then now this one, which does feel like a fully fledged trailer. Hannah, what did you think?
I think that it wasn't the same vibe as the first things that I had seen from the
Yeah.
Frozen 2 stuff. So I was a little confused again with the beginning narration, but more so overall, I thought the trailer in the animation part of it, so the lighting and like just the overall vibe wasn't very Frozen 2 of what I'd seen. And it
Mhm.
almost seemed to me like more of an action, like rinky dink film than it would be Frozen 2, like this big thing we've been leading up to. Like this trailer didn't make any sense with the other trailers. And I feel like Disney tricked me into thinking it was going to be something different.
Hmm. It's not the most positive spin on the trailer.
I'm
I
so
mean,
positive about it. Like, I'm
as
still super excited. I just think, like, from the other one where it was like Elsa going on this story of self discovery, I feel like this feels a little different. Like, I'm still excited. Like, I love the purple outfits. I love that they're like traveling through different areas. I think
Hmm.
there's just like so many characters in this new trailer that I'm worried that it's going to be like a mushmafluff. Like, there were so many new faces. Like they're meeting those people in the forest, and then you have the trolls, and then you have Anna with her sword, like battling the people with the white hair that are asking about the magic. Like there's just
Mhm.
so much going on. Like I'm not sure how long this film is going to be, but I'm hoping that they don't like shove in all these elements and lose the story. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I think that's just my
Mhm.
little fear that I got from this trailer, but trailers aren't necessarily like the definition of what the movie will be. Like maybe they spread it out a lot more. I'm just a little nervous by all these new people that we're meeting.
Yeah, like maybe it's just sort of a action adventure romp without a whole lot of substance behind it. Is that what you're
Yes, that's
concerned about?
exactly, you phrase it so much better than I do. Yes,
Mhm.
like I'm scared it's going to be all of
Like,
these like huge scenes, these beautifully animated full scenes, but then we're going to lack on the heart like of the
mhm,
story.
Right. Like all the elements that we knew that we loved from Frozen before, I think
mhm,
might get lost if it's too action packed and too trying to be something that it's not. Because the best thing about the first Frozen movie is that it made us rethink the entire Disney library with like the little comments that were you can't fall in love on the first day and like those kind of things.
mm,
And I just felt like the first one seemed so intellectual for a children's movie that
mhm,
now we're just going back to sword fights and running around, and I don't really know what's going on.
hmm. Excellent point about how the original Frozen really, yeah, I feel like it recontextualized the Disney animated film library for me at least, but probably for a lot of audiences in general. It was kind of a major revival for this mode of storytelling, the Disney fairy tale. I mean, it kind of was the follow up to Tangled, which had come out a few years earlier, but just exploded in success on a level that just few films had seen before. I guess The Lion King was kind of the previous time that something had hit on that scale. And yeah, Frozen just bringing so much new life to the Disney fairy tale and personality really. um, I mean, I'm excited by the prospect of just more action because I love action films and it's my favorite genre. But it does have to have a strong emotional component in order to be a good movie overall.
Right. What was your like after you watched the trailer for the first time, what was your kind of like gut response? Were you a little overwhelmed? Were you underwhelmed? Like what did you
Yeah, I think
feel?
yeah, I was kind of overwhelmed. Well, there was so much detail, and I
So
had to go
much.
back and pause. It just kind of made things a bit more clear. I think it really went in the direction that I thought everything I'd heard up to this point made it seem like it was going. That this would be sort of a contained story set in this mystical land that had been sort of cursed. That the king had done something to trigger this curse.
Right. They say in the trailer no one can get in and no one can get
Mhm.
out. Is that essentially the curse of the forest?
Yeah, yeah, it's like I don't know, some strange elemental.
Fog.
Yeah, yeah, and that ties directly in with Elsa and Anna and their family. Who knows? Maybe even a connection to the storm that took the parents' lives.
Do you think we're going to see their parents in the present? Like, do you think we're going to find that they, miraculously got sucked into this forest or something without like a rhyme or reason? They've been saved. Because I mean, of course, we have those clips of them in the childhood, but do
Mhm.
you think that we're going to see them coming back?
Yeah, I mean, Dawson suggested that like something along the lines of the water spirit, that horse, the neck, could have like swooped in and rescued the king and queen,
Right.
or maybe we'll just see them in like a spectral form. Um, but I mean, that horse spirit seems to only be hostile until Elsa kind of wrangles it using her ice rope.
Yeah, I'm like letting this thing play over and over in the corner of my
Mhm,
eye.
mhm,
And it just showed that part of her wrangling it. And I mean, I'm just curious to see like why
mhm.
she's at the ocean to begin with, because all the scenes of them traveling, they're all together. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious about the order of events as well after watching this trailer.
Yeah.
I guess I thought it was going to sort of start out as her like just practicing her powers, and maybe it was like some weird dream she was having, and then they'd go on this adventure. But I am curious to see if they
Yeah.
get separated or what ends up happening with that. I really hope that they don't get too repetitive with Elsa being like, Anna, you're not strong enough. You can't come with me. Or like, Anna, you can't just do that. Because like we already saw that in the first movie. And I really hope that they let the character grow with this one, because it's like Anna has proven that she can do things. So like I'm a little curious about that too, is like how many
Yeah.
times am I going to hear that Anna can't do things, because that's going to be a little annoying.
Yeah. I don't know how is anyone other than Elsa going to fight
Cross
off all of this magic though?
Chris
I don't know. Did you see that huge rock
like
creature? Like, who could defeat that giant? I don't know what he is. It's like
Mm-hmm.
marshmallow, but made out of stone. I don't even think ice, something like
Yeah.
that.
This trailer has made me realize that I'm all for like other characters getting powers if it means like servicing a battle, like an epic climactic battle, towards the end of the film. Like in order to fight off these forces, they have to use magic, and so Elsa, maybe Anna gets elemental powers somehow. I mean,
But I saw
I
some
think that'd be
people commenting that they think she's going to have fire powers. I do not think that she's going to have powers. That's my guess, is that she won't.
yeah. On the surface, I don't want her to have powers, but if it suits the story, then I'm okay with it.
that's the thing about this movie is I feel like they want Anna to be more powerful just because in the trailer she does say, well, I climbed up the North Mountain and all of these things, so I can come with you. And then there's the little moment where Elsa says, um, don't follow me into fire. And then Anna said, well, don't run into fire. I feel like that was so sisterly. And it's almost like kind of what Jody was saying, how we have this repetitive theme of Anna constantly not being good enough, but then having to prove herself. But maybe if she did have powers, it would finally make Elsa see that Anna is worth something. And honestly, even children that meet Elsa and Anna, they just kind of go right for Elsa because she has the powers. So Anna needs something
They
to like
don't.
give her a
Mm.
leg up. They
Yeah,
literally
the kids
don't
do
care.
not care about Anna. Like kids, Elsa and Anna
Wow.
walk into a room and it's Elsa, Elsa. Like
Yeah.
nobody cares about Anna. So like maybe they have to give her a power, because like
To make her like worthy of standing next to her.
Disney's like, wait, nobody wants to meet her at the meet and greet.
Yeah,
I
and it's
I'm
like a little
yeah.
it's a little sideways, but I also don't think it's necessary for Anna to have powers. And I'm more confused now of what Frozen 2 is than ever.
That's
I
me
don't know.
too. That's exactly how I felt. I texted Hannah after I watched it. I was like, I hope Philip has an idea of what's going on, because I'm overwhelmed.
It's the story to save the kingdom ultimately.
Well, it makes no sense. And why is the Duke of Weaseltown still there?
Is he
Where
in
was
the
he?
trailer? I didn't see him.
Wesselton. I thought
I
they
didn't.
showed like a little glimpse, but I could be wrong.
There's a crowd scene of the Arendelle townsfolk kind of looking on in horror. It looks like it, as the village is being um
And if all of
destroyed.
them are leaving, Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, Sven, Olaf, like all of the main characters,
Who's watching the
watching
kingdom?
the kingdom. Yeah.
I don't know. The council, I guess the same. Whoever was watching the kingdom
Well, like we need
before.
some explanations.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd like to see some further development of the kingdom and some of the residents, the denizens of Arendelle. The trolls are heavily involved. Like the trolls are fully enveloped in the population, the human population of Arendelle as well.
Mhm.
They've stopped hiding. So
And they're the ones
um,
who have more of the information, I think, about the forest, right? They're sort of the
yeah,
ones that they know that mythology and the history. So there's sort of going to be that link, I think, between like Arendelle and this hidden forest kingdom. Like we need somebody that can like be the link, and then that's going to be them. But guys, can we skip to the part where Elsa's wearing purple constantly?
Yeah,
Color
she
of
has
true royalty.
the purple nightgown that I've seen before, and then there's this new dress
Yeah,
that
the lacy one.
Love
yeah,
it.
I wonder when that takes place.
I don't
Um,
know. Maybe they're just giving her this color because now she's like the queen, but I'm all about it. I mean, Disney, this is sort of just more about colors now, but Disney has so many blue princesses. It has Cinderella, it has Jasmine, it has Aurora in the blue. There's so much blue that like this purple is going to shine bright in the princess lineup. I know they're not technically Disney princess. Um,
mhm.
what's the name of it? Like they're not technically part of that lineup yet.
Yeah, the princess line.
Right, like they're their own separate little entity, but
Mhm.
when you put them all together, like having her in this royal deep purple, she is going to stand out like the star she is.
She well, purple and green are the official colors of Arendelle. So she's just representing. She's being patriotic. So yay or nay ultimately on Anna getting powers if you had to
Yay if
decide.
it's going to make the story more fluid, nay if they're just giving her powers so she's more popular at meet and greets.
Hannah, what do you think?
I don't like want her to have powers. I want her to be a normal girl that loves chocolate just like me.
I say yes in order to fight off the the
The Rock.
crazy rock, the forces of earth, wind, and fire. We're dancing in September here.
I just don't get how Elsa like has been fighting off her powers her whole life, and Anna like had no idea that they were even like there until it was conveniently placed.
Well, it could be something to do with the
Mhm.
woods themselves. Like maybe that fog carries some type of magic that
Mhm.
affects the royalty. Like we don't know. Like they could tie it in seamlessly if they wanted. I mean, not
Yeah.
seamlessly, but they could tie it in.
Well, I think it would be best if Anna were given powers, but temporarily, just as
Oh.
a pragmatic thing, so that she can help in the efforts to overcome these forces. Um, you know, Elsa gets to keep her powers, but as we see in the trailer, she's kind of
What if they
grappling with.
take away Elsa's powers?
I do not want that.
Philip would like write the biggest, strongly worded letter to Disney ever.
Yeah, you're stripping her of her, agency
Her
as a female.
coolness.
Yeah,
Of her
and
rep with the 5 and under crowd.
but she is facing off with like the temptation to overplay her power. The troll, the ever wet blanket, grandpappy troll, is cautioning about how Elsa's power, you know, runs the risk of getting out of control. And so that will be an interesting conflict to me, as sort of a thematic source of substance, below the surface. Elsa, um, deciding how much her powers are actually influencing her decisions and her identity. I think that does make for an interesting discussion, and exploration, especially considering what you have noticed concerning like Elsa's popularity compared to Anna. And yeah, that probably just does have a lot to do with the fact that, I mean, who wouldn't want to be the character who has these amazing powers?
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna end up doing with it. So even though they showed us a ton in this new trailer, I guess I still have so much more to learn about it because
I'm more confused now than ever.
I'm happy we had Philip to lead us through it a little bit because I feel a little more calm. It was just a lot of 8 a.m. to soak in. It was a lot. Like I think everyone can agree with that. Do you know if we're gonna get one more trailer before November rolls around?
I don't think so. There'll be TV spots, but probably not much more footage. They showed a full length clip of one of the musical numbers at D23, which we did not see.
Ugh.
we didn't get into the studios panel at D23 because the
Because we're
reservation
noobs.
process.
We didn't know the
It's-
rules of D23.
Yeah, we didn't know you had to like go on your laptop 6 months in advance and keep clicking refresh.
like there was a reservation process for the panels themselves,
Right.
and I didn't get access to any of that. I got through the queue into the reservation page, but everything was filled up.
That's what
by
a
the
friend of
time I
ours said. Her like someone she went with waited
Mhm.
6 hours online and then got to the end and everything was gone.
Yeah. Do you want to be spoiled on any of the details from this clip?
Yeah, spoil me.
Spoil us.
Okay. Here goes. The group is playing charades, and we mentioned this on a previous episode. And this was something that had come out at a previous press conference at the Annecy Festival in France. But during this clip, Anna and Kristoff, they're talking about Elsa. Does she seem weird to you? Well, she seems like Elsa. And then this is when Elsa's going off following the voice. Well, unbeknownst to Anna, Kristoff has a surprise in store.
What?
As she's like walking out the room, concerned about Elsa, he's like down on his knee, holding extending his arms, about to say, will you marry me? But she doesn't see it. She does not realize at this moment that
Oh my
he's going.
gosh. That would happen to me.
So he gets stiffed a little bit.
Sad.
We'll see how that plays out as the film progresses. But so we do know Kristoff does have marital intentions, but Anna is unaware. And then, there's this musical number. I don't know the name of the song that Elsa sings as she's being summoned by the magical voice.
I love the magical voice. Man, there's so much going on in this that we didn't even talk about yet. And I love when she's hopping from stone to stone and her hair is flying free. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Every clip. Okay, sorry, keep going.
It's not unbraided though.
It's
is
unbraided, yes. It's flying free.
Oh,
her hair is like whipping around. Heather Coy messaged me and said, "Oh my gosh, Elsa loses her braid." Like, it's free.
Okay. I've been tracking through this trailer nonstop.
That's okay. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Was it towards the beginning?
I think it's more middle. It's when she's hopping from tall stone to tall stone.
Oh, it's oh yes.
It's free. It's wild and free.
The magical. She creates these like magical pillars that she's running across, and that's when she's in her outfit, when she's like taking on the ocean and the ocean spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing that's that's well into their adventures in the Enchanted Lands. And they do get separated at some point. It's fairly clear because there is that clip from like the first trailer where Anna is alone and she's in like this, rock cavern. So there will be some aspect of them trying to reunite. I don't know, awfully treacherous with these rock creatures. Yeah. How did they survive that? We'll have to wait and see. So I guess that concludes our Frozen 2 analysis
for now.
For now. All right. So D23, did it capture the magic of Disney?
Is this a different episode?
This is the same episode. We're doing like a full on just like
welcome back style.
Welcome back. 3 hours. You just have to be. No, it's not going to be 3 hours. But anything's kind of on the table.
All right. Sorry. Keep going.
No, we recently experienced D23 Expo, the three of us, the Thod Squad. We also did some Disneyland, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I got to see that.
We drank the milk.
We drank the Kool-Aid, the blue milk and the green milk.
which is not
Um,
milk.
I
Let's
guess
start
not.
with D23 though, because like I feel like we need to
Mhm.
put it in order because we did so much over the course of just a few days that I will
Mhm.
easily get off topic. So yeah, we went to D23, me like roading you guys back in. We went to D20 the first time, and Philip and I had been talking about it like months ago because I think all of us are Disney fans, we're all animation fans, and Philip
Mhm.
lives out there and he's like, we should check this out. Like, it's now or never. Frozen 2 will be coming out. Like, it's going to be the perfect like time to see D23. And then Hannah jumped in, and then we had even more friends just throughout the industry of cosplay and fandom that joined in too. So we got our tickets months ago and we were newbies, like we said, like we didn't know exactly how to sign up for panels and things like that. But honestly, for our first time, I think we got a lot into those 3 days.
Mhm.
So that's my little intro about D23.
It was a lot to take in. Yeah, Hannah, what did you think?
I really loved that you got to be so in it with all the things. There's a lot more shopping than I thought it would be. I didn't go to as many things as you did, but I did love that they let us see all of the costumes. That was probably like my favorite exhibit that we went to at D23, and also seeing Sharpay's car from High School Musical. That was really cool. But I thought it was interesting how it wasn't like there was people on an untouchable like stage 20 yards away. Like it's not like everything was in a theater, which is kind of what I went in thinking,
Mhm.
that there was going to be like all these little theater setups, but it was
Mhm.
literally like masking tape on the floor, and you sat down and you kind of just like blended with all of these people that just had a similar interest than you, and it was a lot more relaxed than I thought it would be.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too. They hosted at this like huge convention center in Anaheim. It's 3 stories. So when you come in, well, I mean, even before you walk in, you walk through these food vendors, you see hundreds of cosplayers outside. And once you head inside to that first floor, it's sort of like expo style. We had an opportunity to see, you know, different stands. Some people are selling things like pins or like Disney memorabilia. There's other things like for upcoming movies. I know they showed there was a Frozen 2 stand, which we can talk about more because that had a little bit more content for us. And everything like sort of pressed into that first floor. And then as you move up the floors, they have these big spaces for like shows. Basically, we saw like a Broadway section, and the panels themselves, these huge rooms. So it did feel a lot less claustrophobic than I expected, just because there's so much space that you're never really crammed shoulder to shoulder. And I really appreciated that because I thought it was going to be a lot of pushing through crowds, but I didn't get that sense at all. Like you can really stroll along and take your time and sort of do what you want to do, provided you do a little planning ahead of time, which again we didn't do tons of.
Mhm. We caught a few panels. I saw 3. Um and yeah, there were certainly the opportunity to just stand in line for some of these panels. Like the big studios panel, I don't even think it would have been difficult to get into that by standing in line. You would have had to waited overnight uh, to wait in line for that.
Yeah, Philip found
Uh,
that out that people were lining up the night before to see
Which I
yeah.
that.
kind of hated. Like, don't do that. Don't wait overnight. Like, that's a little ridiculous. Even if you love
Yeah.
it, I don't really love the waiting overnight thing. And there was something about how D23 was trying to like stop people from doing it, but they were still doing it anyways.
I
And
think
people
they
were
were
lined up in
setting a
some
limit
places.
on it. They were saying like you
Mm.
can't line up Thursday night, but you can line up starting Friday night, something like that.
Yeah, and people were like
Mm.
sleeping outside for days. It's like, calm down.
Okay. I mean, people knew that this was just going to be this really exclusive thing. So yeah, that studios panel, like once it fills up, and they don't show any of that content outside of the panel. So it's
Right.
just the audience who's there who gets to witness, and so many celebrities who are up on stage. Um, you know, the cast of Frozen, I mean, all got up and
Wow.
sang a song. And a lot of and the biggest announcements from that panel weren't even connected to Frozen. I think a lot of the news articles to come from that didn't even mention the Frozen 2 news, because there just wasn't a lot of new information revealed at that panel. A lot on the upcoming, like, um, Star Wars Episode 9.
Oh, we'd be
And
amiss if we didn't say
yeah,
that at that panel they were probably talking about Disney Plus.
That's all
I'm sure
they were
some of you
talking
didn't
about.
hear about that because they were pushing Disney Plus like
That was the theme of
subscription, like,
D23.
yeah. Well, I think Disney Plus was actually Friday. There was a whole separate panel for that as
Oh, it
well.
had its own panel. See, look, I was there
Yeah,
and I missed it.
that
That's
was
all they were talking
yeah.
about was Disney Plus. Like everywhere you looked, there was a sign telling you about Disney Plus and someone from like Hulu like giving you a button.
It was a hot
Mhm.
deal though. I think it's like $3 a month if you would have gone along with their subscription plan that they had available to D23 guests.
Mm-hmm. I did get that.
I did
Um,
too.
yeah, it was a good deal. Yeah, Disney Plus. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but they did have several in their main stage, just really, I guess, informative panels unveiling their upcoming projects. The, the Disney Plus content, as well as what's coming from their film studios, and then they had other panels in that room related to the parks. And Jody, you and I saw the Broadway panel.
Yeah, I think we should take a
Amazing.
second and tell people about how amazing the Broadway panel was. Philip and I weren't really sure what we were going to do on Saturday. Hannah wasn't able to come along with us. And we walked in and they sort of have the schedule of events. And we're like, well, we should just line up and see if we can get in on this one, this Broadway one, because I love musicals. Philip loves musicals. But we didn't really know exactly what we were getting into. We were brought into this like atrium area and we took a seat. It blew my mind. Like, it was worth the $250 ticket just to go to this like little 1 hour performance. And when I say little, I mean like it was amazing. It was
Mhm.
these previous Broadway performers kind of coming together and medley style doing show tunes from Tarzan, Mary Poppins. They did things from The Little Mermaid, Lion King. They did some stuff from Newsies. They did maybe 3 songs from all of these really amazing Disney Broadway shows. I was, like, in tears the whole time because Disney music alone on a CD is amazing. Disney music performed live by professionals is full body chills. It
Mhm.
was honestly, like, the highlight of my trip,
Mhm.
and I will go back to D23 with the hopes of catching something like that again because it really was once in a lifetime, to hear, Beauty and the Beast sung live. And they did stuff from Frozen too, of course, but
Mhm.
it was amazing. So for those listening that are thinking about D23, if they have another like musical number,
Mhm.
try to get to it because it's something you'll never forget.
Mhm. Yeah, so essentially a concert. Yeah, sung performed by all these actors from the history of Disney Broadway. I saw a voice acting panel on Sunday that was in Hall D23, and that was really interesting. They brought on the actors for several of the Disney princesses. Paige O'Hara was there, Jodie Benson, Anika Nani Rose, Linda Larkin, Ali Cravalho, Moana. She sang a song during the panel, the voice of Moana. It
You
was
were in on
really
that one, Philip?
really impressive. I did. It was Heather and I who went to that
Oh
on
yeah.
Sunday after, yeah, you guys had kind of, I think, gone home. You were kind of
We took a minute because it's a lot.
you had a much longer
It's
week.
hot there.
Well, you had been at Disneyland leading up to D23, which was impressive to say the least. Um, and yeah, so I don't know. Overall, I know Jody, you and I saw like this other panel that was like a documentary series on Disney Plus. It was like surprise they hadn't announced what the topic of the panel was. It was interesting. I loved the little moment though. Like we were standing in line for the Broadway panel, and then the host of that documentary series panel walked by. I was like, "Hey, it's the guy's name is Jeffrey Epstein."
Oh, he
Which
was
is pretty great.
hilarious. He was having some
Mhm.
mic issues, and so, like, we had to tell him that he covered like a superstar, which
Mhm.
I don't even remember what happened because I black out when I talk to anyone who's been on a stage because they're more famous than me. But all the people working for Disney, this is me, like, it makes sense, but all the people working for Disney, whether it's the, like, MC or whoever you bump into there, like, they're all having the time of their lives working for this company. And
Mhm.
so I don't think he minds that we like I fangirled over him. I was like, "Great job with the mic," and then I fainted.
I think it made his day. Yeah, yeah. Jeffrey Epstein, he's like the VP of marketing, and he like is in charge of the whole D23 event, basically. Um, and then yeah, he was hosting this panel with, and then yeah, they had a few hiccups, but he was great. He had a great onstage presence, and
Mhm.
we rightfully complimented him as he was strolling past. It's like, hey, but yeah, unfortunate to be named Jeffrey Epstein in this day and
Yeah,
age.
it's not the year to have that last name, like, I would be changing it.
Yeah, not that Jeffrey Epstein. um, well, anyways, I really enjoyed Galaxy's Edge. We should probably wrap things up. Um, we'll be harkening back to these experiences plenty of times in our future conversations because it was just such a rich, um, really fully immersed. And I know this is Thodcast conversations about animation. It's not, you know, specifically a Disney podcast or anything, but I think we're within our right to to wave our banners, if you will.
Right. Well, they
Uh,
talk about animation probably at D23. We just didn't catch it because we didn't
mhm.
plan so well.
Yeah, and they announced a new Disney animated feature, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Raya looks very like East Asian themed, very fantastical. Um, and then there was the Pixar movie Soul that they revealed with Jamie Foxx. Yeah, it's that looks pretty interesting, almost like Inside Out, but more of like the afterlife and what the soul is like. Um, and yeah, the new Pixar film Onward. They revealed a bit more about that. So just a slight glimpse of what's to come.
Exciting things ahead, but I think Frozen 2 takes the cake as far as Disney projects that we're like waiting patiently for.
Yeah, I really am going to be thrilled by Frozen 2 based on the visuals alone. I mean, I hate to say that, it makes me sound kind of like a sucker, but just from what I've seen, like the story does have to be good, but you know,
I think it will be good. They know
yeah.
the whole world is watching them carefully when
Mhm.
it comes to this sequel. It's not something they're going to try to slide by with something just flashy. Like, I'm
Mhm.
guessing they put all their best minds on this project. So I don't think we need to stress out too much. And like you said, the visuals
Mhm.
alone will be captivating. So even if the
Mhm.
story's a little off, it's still going to probably be a 10 out of 10 movie experience.
I think so. I'm gonna see it like 20 times.
I know as soon as we get off here, I'm like watching the trailer again with the sound because I've been watching it without the sound over and over again as we speak.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I just can't wait.
All right. Well, Hannah, any final thoughts? Have you come around on the trailer at all?
Honestly, like I'm a little less confused than I was at the beginning. I was never not going to watch it, so I'll definitely be
Mhm.
tuning in to Frozen 2 and at the edge of my seat for more information. Hopefully it's everything that we've dreamed of all of this time. And honestly, Disney's not one to disappoint, so here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
All right. And plus, I found out we get to see Elsa Unbraided.
Elsa Unbraided, a sequel.
All right. Here's to future Frozen streaming series, maybe.
Oh yeah, like Tangled.
I,
It'll be the opposite of Tangled.
Yeah.
It'll be unbraided.
yeah. So I have been your host of the Thodcast, Conversations about Animation, Philip Elke. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, hopefully. Visit our website, thodcast.com, THAWEDCAST, all one word. Thanks so much. I'm joined by... you want to go first, Jody?
I would love to go first. Yeah, thanks guys for listening. You can always follow me on Instagram. It's Jody Pulaski, JODIPOLASKY. And definitely catch out our upcoming episodes. We've been busy this summer, but we're super excited to be coming in strong with consistent content as the weeks go on.
Hannah?
You can find me on Instagram too at Hannah Lee, Leigh, ever after, like fairy tales. And I'm so excited to be back on the Thodcast, thawing out and giving some warm hugs.
Cute.
Warm hugs, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Have a magical week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.